Good morning.
Good morning,
How
Christopher.
are
How
you?
are you? Good.
Getting the groove going.
Yes. He's ready to groove. Yes.
All right, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, all right. That's enough. All right. I'm sorry. I just had to get the juices flowing.
Yes, I get it. Ah,
Here we are, back and better than ever.
yes.
Good morning. So you
Uh,
were you were traveling. You were in the lovely land of Lancaster. Lancaster.
Yes. Yes. Which we've been there before, but it was nice. It was a nice day to get away. The weather was surprisingly beautiful. Um, and it was a long day, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. And we went with our friend and which loves it there just as much as we do. And you get to see all the animals and get to feed them. And I had my puppy with me, so she likes to see them.
Oh
And
boy, that must have been a treat. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, even when we went in August, just Tommy and myself, having her like look at the baby goats and stuff, and they look at her, and I still to this day like my friend Dorothy took me to another places that we've seen, but we actually haven't got out of the car to go in to shop. Like she really goes in and looks at all the stores, the bakeries, all the small cute
Yeah.
spots. I told her we just never did. We always drive around and then we'll go to where he's seen whatever. Anyway, so she took us to a spot that had goats also. And then they had chickens. And she has the pictures, which I haven't gotten yet, but we couldn't stop laughing. First of
Mhm.
all, some of the goats were beautiful. Like
They are.
they were, but and I still stare at them and go, why are their teeth perfect? It it bothers me because and you see them chewing gum like they're just like they just sit there and whatever they're chewing on, it looks like they're chewing gum.
Right.
And if you look at every one of their teeth,
Yeah.
I said this the last time. I just get amazed by it. They're perfectly straight, tiny little teeth. It looks like they have dentures.
Well, they have a very good farm dental plan, I hear.
I'm not, I know, you know what? I don't know what it is, but I just really, I think it's so cute and they're so fun to feed. And the chickens, I've never seen them. I have only seen them on television. They were so furry and they had these little balls of fur on their head. They looked like
Wow.
they were wearing Russian feather caps,
Wow.
and their body like soft fur, like white ones, and they looked like the chicken. No, they didn't look like the chicken. They actually looked like they should sound like the one from the cartoon that goes, yes, like the sophisticated one. They looked like they should be walking around with a long stick cigarette. They were very, very sharp looking and very sophisticated. They looked like they could give two shits that we were standing there, and they were just
Right.
bobbing their heads. And I have to get the pictures from her because they were really pretty to see. But
That is so cool. You know, when you mentioned about the goats before, I remember in a local farm here. I think I told you the story. They had goats on the property, and they'd have certain days you could go and pet the goats,
yeah,
see the goats. And this was in the, I guess, late spring maybe. But anyway, there were baby goats that had just been born,
yeah,
recently. So it was their kind of
they're
their
cute.
early days walking out in the field, and following the
Hmm.
mother. But then the farmers, they would pick up the baby goats and let us hold them.
Oh,
And the mother's a little nervous, like, what are you doing? But let's.
yeah,
And when I picked up this baby goat, it just kind of like, and I'm like, oh my God, can I take
yeah,
this home?
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it just kind of looked and went, meh.
I know. It's like, how do you not that? You just fall in love with them.
Oh, is this great, and of course, I was like, I'm gonna have to put you down now. I don't want to, but I'm gonna put you down,
I'm gonna have to,
And
yeah.
the
And you
mother
then you
was
want
like,
to
okay,
pick them all up. You because they're
oh
so
God,
fresh.
pick him up, and go, kiss for
Yeah,
you, kiss.
yes, yes, yeah. And then you hear them,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and you're like, where are they coming from? Where are they going? And I'm like, oh. And then they just come walking up,
yeah.
and it's like, what? What are you looking at? I could have a full-blown conversation, and it would still go. She was crying. She was trying to dig her head underneath. She wanted to jump over the fence. I'm like, you
Oh my God.
can't. But they were, and then one of them was like Lily's color, but a little darker. It had that orange coat, like a really brown, rustic orange color,
Yeah.
and the markings on it were like black stripes, almost like a skunk, and then white through it.
Hmm.
Oh my God, we were like, what kind of like so pretty, and then a white one. Dorothy noticed a white one was coming, and she goes, "Oh my God, you're beautiful!" And I went, oh, looked like that. Both of them looked like they were maybe a year old or something. They looked
Oh,
young, and the white one was pure white and had
wow.
a couple of little markings, but little, and just I don't know. It's just a different world out there. And then, looking at the Amish people past a few schools because we
And
went
you walk
during
up to an
we
Amish person, they're like,
Believe it or not, no. Yeah, I know. Believe it or not, no.
that was the
Some of the
kids.
people like that do live there will shun you away. Like, oh, you're
Yeah.
from New York, get the fuck away from here type thing. Pretty much, yeah. Like Dorothy even said it. She's been there many a times where she's had people like get the fuck away. Like, we don't want
Wow.
you here. They don't like it.
Yeah.
But there
Or
are a
there's
lot of Amish.
the ones that don't want their picture taken.
Right.
They
And
will
it's
hide their
not as
face.
bad though, because when we were there yesterday, if you look around, yes, you'll have your horse and buggies, and you see the wives with the children and ponies. The best is we seen the ponies
Hmm.
on the buggy, and we were like, oh my God, little dwarf ponies wheeling out a whole family of four. It's like
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
tiny, but
Yeah.
anyway, the horses, the buggies. And you see the men, it amazes me. These guys are sweating and they're working they're just plowing and they're fertilizing their crops, the houses, the silos, the it's just like when you sit there and you look around, first of all, the truth is the air that you breathe is amazing. It's such a difference. And every place you sit, every shop, every um every place is just they're all family oriented. That's old school. They all support each other. They all whether they have honey that the the whatchamacallit, can't even think. Anyway, whatever. I'd say like from everything that's freshly made from their farm and
Well, their sense of community is very tight, to some certain extremes. But
it's almost like
um,
they're all related because there's the shop over there
yeah,
that's all their homemade stuff or their whatever
yeah,
handmade stuff. And across the street is a totally other different shop, but that will
right,
sell their stuff on their shelves. You go to
right,
the next store, it could be a furniture store, and they'll have a little shelf with the stuff from that store and that store.
yeah,
They all
yeah.
support each other. I actually bought one of their little wooden horse and buggies in a different shop at a kitchen kettle village. And she said that's a family that makes them. So I was like, how do I not buy one? It's all hand
Right.
carved wood, the horse and the
Oh, wow,
buggy. And
beautiful.
they were $15. I was like, that supports the family.
Yeah,
And I love that. And it's
yeah.
just everything in every one of their stores or bakeries. I mean, you see all the Amish women, how hard they work and they're raising their children. And then the schools look like Little House on the Prairie.
That's actually, part of uh, their mindset, their culture, where like women, the more attractive you are is how hard you work. You know, they're that's the I forget the way they described it, but of course, they're not. Vanity is like sin. They don't want to make themselves, stand
No,
out.
and a lot of them are
Yeah,
a lot of the girls, a lot of the women, they're beautiful. They're
yeah,
some of them
natural,
they have nothing on.
right?
They're yes, and then some of them are like you need to. I don't know if you're Jedediah or yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, some of them are like, wow, I don't
Yeah, they're
know if I should call
they're
you
built
or
to
your
last,
wife.
and they're they but work is their pride and joy, and lazy does not enter into their vocabulary.
No, not at all. And I mean, their homes, some of the farms are just like you just sit there and you look at the trees in the town, and I don't know. You absolutely love it, and you say to yourself, I could see myself living, not maybe where,
Right. But close
but
to that area, close to that kind of
yes,
serenity. I
like
mean, yeah,
that's something my girlfriend, she loves it there. Like we would talk about PA, meaning PA in general, like my husband and I would from my where my family lived. Um, and like I told her, I wouldn't mind moving to Lancaster because there are other places besides
right,
where the farms are. And that's what she always wanted to do.
right.
Um, and she talks about it like it's her, and it is true. It's like there's just a different lifestyle. Like yesterday, she was like, I could see myself living here and
Yeah,
enjoying coming. Like, and I said, you're right. We were just sitting down. Tommy was in the car with the bait with the puppy, and he was like, "Go do what you want to do. Enjoy yourselves." He was tired, so
yeah.
he's in the parking lot. Me and her walked all over, and then she went to the pretzel shop, Immergut, it's called or something. Um, she knows all about it, so she took us there. She went in and she got the pretzels and fresh lemonade. And then outside they have the tables and you see everybody sitting outside or whatever. Me and I were just sitting there bullshitting. And you're looking around and you see the cars, the trucks, horse and buggies all over the
Right.
place. And it's just like you just find yourself wanting to be there all day. I said, see how I
Yeah.
would look like when we go on 86th Street. That would be our 86th Street because there's a million stores.
Right, 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 right.
She
Yeah.
goes, back in Brooklyn, we don't want to leave. We don't want to go to here. It's disgusting. But yet we look there and I said I would not get sick of walking here
Right.
every day and sitting outside for hours and just talking, having a cup of
Well, you
coffee.
appreciate that, Mark, because you've lived a very more, hectic, fast-paced, lifestyle. Of course, living in New York, um, and when you've done it for so many years, like you've often said, the congestion and you can't park anywhere, and after a while, and not the noise. Enough is enough. You want to get some
No.
some breathing room. The place I think I told you that I found interesting, although it's a battlefield, was Gettysburg.
Hmm.
Um, which is another long ride, but I would rather stay over a night or two. And I've been there a couple of times, but even though it's a war memorial, battlefield, and the whole town obviously is dedicated, to that, and a
Right.
college there and everything. There's such an amazing sense of serenity there, almost, but
Hmm.
more of a sacredness because of what
Right.
happened there and all that. But
Right.
um, just the farmland out there, it's just you can
Peace.
breathe, you can go, wow, there's still space,
Yeah. It's
just
peace.
to walk around. You don't hear a car horn, you
No.
don't, there's no planes roaring overhead. But yeah, it is nice. And the times I've been to Lancaster, it's been interesting. Especially like I said about the animals. I just really enjoy, you know, uh, the animals. Of course, I'm an animal lover, as you are.
Uh-huh.
It's beautiful,
The horse, I mean, every time you turn around, they have the farms full of horse. And then we got to see pigs yesterday, and I wanted to stop, but we couldn't. We were like, those piggies. They were just eating. I know. I was like, look, my family. No, I'm only kidding. But they were three or four of them just eating, and
you
they were,
know, I didn't tell you. Years ago, there was a friend of a friend. She was a farmer and living up, in central Jersey, and she had a pig. And this was
oh,
a potbelly pig, small, but obviously low to the ground.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
I think the belly hung like that much off the ground.
Yeah.
And I think his name was Oscar.
Oh,
And
oh,
and she was telling we would go over her apartment. She lived in a condo complex, and there was a dog also in the apartment. So, and the dog and the pig, they
oh,
they like they understood each other.
yeah,
They may not have been the best of buddies, but they got it. This is where your
right.
spot is. This is
This is
where you
home.
eat. This is where, yeah,
Yeah,
this is where I eat. You know, and they were talking about how smart pigs are.
yeah, yeah.
I think this one had a college degree already. It was amazing. I mean, they're really intelligent creatures.
Yeah. And they're adorable. And when they're babies, oh my
Oh my
God,
God.
talk about hugging one. I would eat one. I can't. Like I think about it. I'm like, why don't they just make all these places for us to kiss them? I just want to kiss a pig. I mean, I could kiss a pig over here in Brooklyn, but I mean a real pig, like a pig. Um, I
Instead of
want
having
I want to
not
pet
just
the
a
cows. I want to kiss the cows. I want to hug them. I want to lay on them. Every time I look, I go, "Oh my God, they're laying down," and they're just so cute. And the horses are beautiful, and you just can't help but want to sit there. I actually put some pictures up on my Facebook of just some areas that had the most beautiful colored trees by a gazebo.
yeah.
Some trees that I got in a row that were bare ass, but they were just, oh my God. And then, like you're going through Kitchen Kettle Village and they're playing Christmas music and they have every strand of lights going through the cobblestone,
Oh wow.
all the
Okay.
shops. It looks like something from a Monopoly game or something, like all the little shops, they're all connected. They
That's
have
cool.
tables outside. It's all cobblestone outside. Uh, it- it's just so like you feel that feeling. We went last year at this time, and we know Dorothy loves it, and that's her place, and she would go all the time. And we were like, why not just ask her if she wants to come? She was
Right.
company for me. Tommy does not care to drive. He'll go do what you want to do.
Right.
You know, uh, Lily came out and she has fun playing in the grass and she was
Yeah.
leaping all over the place and she wants to get into things and it's just so cute and um I don't
Good,
know and all
good
the
living.
little places to buy, so like I bought a calendar yesterday so I could look at the beauty of
Yeah.
Lancaster
Yeah. That's
in
good.
my
All
house.
things. Yeah. I
um
think it's almost like cultivating a deeper appreciation for the simple beauty of nature, simple life, good things, community, food, fellowship, people, just things that I guess it's a cozy feeling listening to everything that you're saying, because
yeah.
it really, I appreciate it more, the older I get. The things that matter, just experience, and like you're just sitting there, you're looking around, watching everything, and you're feeling all these things and experiencing all this beauty. It's wonderful.
But listen, we don't know how they feel. They might, those people could be living there most of their life like we are. And they might feel the same way we feel about Brooklyn. Oh, it's changed. It's gotten worse. Everybody's going to feel something. To us, this is a whole new life. Um, but as many times as we've been there, oh my God, like, I listen, I've been to your house and I loved where you live. I do. I still do. Like, I think of all the places and I'm like,
I'm the pig. I'm the
you
resident
know, stop.
pig.
I just it's a different even though it's Jersey, and I have friends that don't like Jersey at all. And I'm like,
Give me their names.
everybody has a preference,
Give me their
and
names.
yeah, um,
Give me the numbers.
there's parts of Jersey I don't like either. I'm like, nah, I wouldn't even fucking look
No,
at
no.
it.
Jersey is an odd. Jersey's like three states in one.
Well, look at
North,
New
middle, and south.
York. If you go upstate New York, you would never think you're in New York.
Yeah.
Like you go, this is New York. Like when we go to Lake George, I go, I
Right.
can't believe this is New York.
New York. Right.
Yeah, it's still 5 hours away. And I'm like, It's still New York. Like, how do you compare that to Brooklyn? I
Well,
would
New
jump
York
and
is like
run there.
it's like two different countries. You have New York City, which is I call it it's
Right.
a country of its own, and then you have New York proper state,
Right,
which
but
is
it's still like the same state. It just
I know, yeah,
it blows my mind. And listen, I've been to Florida too, and you have certain parts like people are going, "Oh, you got Miami, which is stunning and rich and beautiful." Go a little further, you got the slums, and it's like, "Wait a minute, how do we go from that,
right, right,
not
right,
that far away, and a
yeah,
few miles up, you're like, "Oh my God."
yeah,
People weren't lying. We was like, how bad could it really be?
yeah,
No, I mean, it goes from rich and like, oh my God, the boats, the yachts in the water, and a lot of stars live there, and they got restaurants and lights, and you're like, Miami is gorgeous, everything it is in the videos. And then you hear it and you're like, wow. I mean, I thought New York was bad with certain areas.
yeah,
This wasn't even that. And it's like, wow, it's like you step your foot here to there, and it's like,
yeah,
big difference, huge. Never believe you're in the same area. Never believe you're in the same.
yeah,
But anyway, I mean, I we get very depressed when we got to come home. And you
yeah,
know what? I brought up to my girlfriend yesterday too. I was like, listen, I'm 51. I remember how my father and mother were. They were Brooklyn people. That this was normal to them. And until my father met his brother after almost 11 years, whatever it was, and he took the trip to Georgia and he came back early and told my mother, that's it, we're packing up and leaving. We went from Brooklyn to live in Georgia. And all right, we were young, so we get used to it, blah, 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 whatever. But I always remembered my father having to come back to Brooklyn, change his whole life again because my sister had his first grandchild, especially a boy. And he established himself here again. We didn't get a house. We were still in an apartment because then he got sick. But I remember in between that short time before he passed away, I remember him saying, I can't. I'm going to be here for my grandchildren, but we got to figure out something. He wanted to get out. So it was either move to Pennsylvania, which was more country, quiet for him.
right,
He wouldn't have moved back to Georgia, but he did always say, I want my ashes spread out, by the house that we had because we had a beautiful house. My
oh,
father,
okay,
now it doesn't look like that, but obviously you're not going to do that because we didn't live there no more. We had no ties to the house. It's not like
yeah,
it was ours. We owned it. We came back and rented. If we
right,
owned it, that would have been a totally different story. But the
yeah,
bottom line is I always remember him saying, I can't stand being here no more. And this was fucking 33 years ago almost.
yeah, yeah,
He couldn't take it. And I said, you know what? I'm approaching his age.
yeah,
I'm approaching his age. My father, he died at 56. He was just 3 weeks into being 56 years old. I'll be 52. Just a few years difference. And I'm like, now I know what he meant
mm-hmm,
by wanting to get the fuck away
yeah,
and wanting to go somewhere more peaceful. And
right,
in the same respect, I said this to you last year, the year before when stood with you guys and whatever, and I worked over there, and I said the same thing. I'd have more opportunities to work where you are. Definitely would have more opportunities to work in Pennsylvania, and I would have more opportunities to work in Lancaster.
right,
Here, I can't get shit. So it's a big change. And I told Tommy we have to do something soon because I can't, you know, he's
yeah.
just tired.
Yeah, you could see it. You could see it in your expression and how it affected you. And maybe it's that much more of a powerful motivator. Like, you know what? Enough is enough. We could
Yeah,
talk about it. Yeah, we'd like to someday, but that someday's got to be a lot sooner now.
yeah. I
Like you're
mean,
saying, think about your
I
age.
know it's not easy.
It's
Nothing's ever
not,
gonna be
but
easy,
it
but
all starts with a thought. It all starts with an idea, and then you develop that attitude. Like, you know what? I want this. I want this to happen. I want this to happen. It becomes more. You're more
right.
focused in your attitude, and go. You know
Yeah.
what? I don't want to live out my days here.
No,
I don't. This is
no.
not where I want to
Oh
be.
no. No.
I want to. So and you never know how much time you have. Oftentimes you
No.
think the big thing you think you have time, but you don't.
No.
So better just keep, thinking about it, and yeah, yeah, yeah,
Even for me, like I know a lot of people always say, "Oh, this ain't a good place to raise your kids and stuff," and it's not. But I laugh and I was like, I'm not saying it to be stupid, but even Lily, there's
Right,
nothing here for her.
right.
She loves it when I go to see the kids in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
It's a
She
it's a different
loves,
life for her. Yeah.
yes, yes. I mean, she rolls around in the grass. I mean, we go to the
Yeah.
gas station and she's running like a little bunny. She
Yeah.
leaps. And I'm like, stop pulling me. And we laugh from how cute. And we're like, look, she knows exactly. And there's only small patches of grass because you got all the asphalt. But she fucking charges for that grass. She wants to play. She
Right.
wants to run. She does. She a little leg spread and she starts running. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
laughing, but meanwhile, I'm afraid that the fucking leash is gonna snap. She's gonna go right into, and I feel so bad. I'm like, she wants to do, and then she stops, and I see her, and I go, "What are you doing?" Her ass is in the air, her
Yeah.
head's on the floor, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Look at that! Like she's playing."
All the things that she smells that we can't smell. All
Oh
the
my
things that,
God.
yeah, yeah.
It's just like I look at I want to squeeze her and I'm like, what is she thinking? And then she gets all excited. I go, what? And all I have to do is raise my voice. What are you doing? And she gets crazy. She starts running around. She thinks I'm playing with her. And I'm like, you really love it here. And
You
she
know what?
gets
To
exhausted.
her, that's her heaven.
It is, and she was
That's heaven for her.
born there. She
That's
was
you're right.
born there.
And that's which and so you're also thinking of her. She needs that. You know, she needs that.
Dixie was too. Dixie knew the difference. Dixie was born in Pennsylvania. She was raised here, but she knew the difference when in the beginning, we used to go more often to Pennsylvania.
Right, right.
As she got older and we didn't go, we would leave her home because she was used to being home and we had somebody watch her, Millie. She got accustomed to just being home because we were like, we can't take her because we know we weren't going to be there. So the more that happened, I was like, should we take her? I don't know. It's kind of hard to have her in the house. Nah, let Millie watch her. We're only going overnight.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that to her, this one. Not that I wanted to do it to Dixie either, but it was two
right.
different animals and I
Yeah.
took her out when she wanted and then she just didn't like it anymore and she
I
got
would just
more
think about,
accustomed to
when
staying home.
you hit with Lily being in that environment, you'd open up the door and just let her go run in the grass, and or whatever. Just take it's and I want to say
Yeah,
something real fast because I know we're gonna have to switch time in a little bit, but um, in talking about getting focused and making a change and living elsewhere, when I had my apartment in Bound Brook, next to my mom's house, I had a little tiny, one bedroom.
right,
Um, and Marion was staying with me for the most part. And long story short, something happened. There was an issue with the landlady who lived downstairs, and I knew her all my life, and we were friends.
right,
But I she didn't like pets, and which I didn't know.
right,
And Marion had brought one of her parrots over to Einstein,
right,
Einstein to my apartment.
right.
It was like August, I think, and the windows were open in the apartment, and the landlady was out in the backyard, and she heard the parrot. Got 10 minutes. She heard the parrot squawking, screeching, talking,
Mm-hmm.
and she got mad. For some reason, she didn't like the parrot, so she called me, and she's upset, and I was like, okay, all right, well, the parrot's not going to stay here. She just brought the parrot
Right.
back to her apartment, a few towns away. And after I spoke to her, I said to Mary, I said, we're moving. Find a place.
Yeah.
And it was like she'll even tell you so. It's like I flicked a switch,
Yeah.
and within 2 months we found this place here where we live now, and then we moved in December.
Wow.
But it was something that was such an all-consuming. I can't live this way. I will not live this way. I don't know where we're going, but we're going.
Right.
And like you're saying, we got to figure something
Yeah,
out.
and it takes one thing to snap. Not that you are 100% mad, but when it comes to something you care about, you're with Marion, you love her, this is something she loves. I can't have, and like you said, you didn't really know you weren't allowed to
Right,
have pets. All right, the bird is going to go back. So I can't have anybody come in with their pet. Like it
right,
almost makes you think. Even if they have a fear, I'm paying you rent also. It's not like I'm living here for free. So if my family member comes in for a cup of coffee, I
yeah,
got to tell them, no, you're not allowed to walk in with the because my landlord. Listen, I
right,
mean, if
yeah,
the animal is mischievous, makes too much noise, then I can understand because that's a lot for anyone.
right, yeah.
All right, you told me you don't want pet, that's fine. Don't that would give me the all right, this is not happening. And if
Oh
I
yeah,
definitely want
yeah,
one myself,
yeah.
like you did get your own animal, if I had definitely, if I don't want to live here no more, that's it. So you did the smart thing, and look, I mean, look how many years you're there now. I mean,
Over 20 years, but again, I was just tying into what you were saying about. You say, you know what, we got to figure something out. We got to get to that place. We got
right.
to get to whether it's Pennsylvania, where you, you're going to have a better way of, like you said, there's more opportunities for work.
Uh-huh.
Lily's going to be happy, and we got the notice that we need to move
End the
on,
conversation, yes.
but we can pick it up. There's so much to talk about. But have any of our listeners, viewers, have you been to Lancaster or places like that? That's your serenity. That's your place of bliss. I'm not knocking, the city. Some people they wouldn't think of living anywhere else.
Right,
I've got friends, Marion's family. They're living in Brooklyn. They don't own a car.
right,
You don't need a car in the city, but they just happy where they are. They
right.
want to go to all the
Everybody has
stores
a preference.
that are
Everybody
open,
has a preference.
24 hours,
Right,
and got to be around people all the time. They need that.
right,
Marion's sister is like that. She likes to be around people. She likes noise.
right.
She grew up in the city, and Marion's just the opposite. Like, no. So, but anyway, I loved hearing your stories, and I've always enjoyed, how you describe things. It's just so great. Well, we'll talk
Same
more
here.
again. So, to everybody,
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, guys.
thank you. All right,
Feel free to comment and share, okay?
all right. We will talk.
Thank you. Ciao.